Hello and welcome. This is the group 2 and we will be demonstrating our project digital classroom. So this is the home screen that we have here in which users can log in with their credentials. Once user logs in, will be redirected to his or her dashboard, which will be this one in the React front end. This all the front end has been built inside React. As you can see, users will be able to see their upcoming events. They can also log their attendance as well as see all the classrooms that they are currently enrolled in. As in, right now, this particular student is enrolled in internet programming and computer network security, etc. Yeah. Compared to Google Classroom, our classroom actually provides some additional details right on the dashboard, like latest from streams, and we also provide information like pending task, which is not directly available in Google Classrooms. Next, this is the sidebar menu where users can navigate through all the features that we currently have available. Right now, these beta functions are not available as they are in development. Let's go to classrooms. Inside classrooms, we can see all the classrooms that we have currently. So let's just click on one classroom and we'll be redirected uh, towards that classrooms. Here you can again see your upcoming events, and down here you will see the stream. So this is basically whatever latest things that are happening or whatever things that have happened inside this classroom. You'll get a whole history of it over here, and subsequently if you want to check modules, lectures, or assignment, you can go ahead and click there and get all the details. Now I will go ahead and discuss the yeah I'll also show you the assignment page here that we have built. So this is the assignment page. As you can see, we have properly laid out the assignment details panel in which users can see the assignment title, name of the teacher, points assigned to this experiment, and here this number 12 is actually the index of his assignments. So in this case, this is the 12th assignment in internet programming. Next, you can see all the attached resources and you can attach files to it. So these are the basic features that I have implemented as of yet. I will like to show you some of the API calls that are possible with our backend. So I'll go to Postman here. This application allows us to test our APIs. So right now, let us go and see how authentication will happen. So when user will type in their email and password, this type of JSON format will be sent towards our API backend, and we will be able to get a token. So I'll just click on send here, and as you can see in the response, we are receiving a message which says first we'll get a status of 200, which means our API call was successful. Then we'll get a message which says the name of the user that tried to log in along with its email, and will actually pass us two tokens. These tokens will be used for further use of our APIs. So in this case, uh, an unauthorized user is not able to access all any APIs from our database. So for example, let's say that I want to create a new subject. What I will do is go to the create subject menu here, and I have a subject already created like this. What I'll try and do is I'll just change up the name of the stream a little bit. Inside authorization or inside the headers tag, I will add. Okay, for example, let's just see if I want to get the list of all the streams that are currently there in the database, as in the information technology, mechanical branch, etc. I want to get a list of all these streams that are currently available. What I will do is here, this is a get request, so I don't have to pass anything in the data. In the authorization, I need to pass the token that I just received from Django. And once I go ahead and send the request, you will see okay, we get an error here that is access token is not valid or expired. So what we can go ahead and do is let's just get a new token from here. Yep. Let's just go ahead and copy this token. I'm sorry, the access token. We need to copy the access token. The access token has a validity of 5 minutes. So after that, the token will be not valid. So let us go here in authorization and replace this token. Now let's try sending the request. And as you can see, with the correct authorization token, we are able to get the list of branches. So this is how our APIs are being protected. So an unauthorized user will not be able to access our application API requests. Basically, we're still working, and the project is ongoing. So we hope to complete it in the basic features in month or two, and we're still working hard. I also like to show that this front-end website is completely mobile friendly. So let me open it in a mobile view, and as you can see, everything here is suitable for mobile users. So this application can function for both websites as well as on mobile. So there is no problem for uh, accessibility issues in this. That's it from my end, and thank you for watching.